What's going on, guys? I'm just going to wait for some people to get in here and we will start talking about Dodge's Speed Week announcements. It's been a bit of a controversial week for Dodge for sure. They showed off a lot of new stuff. A lot of people have a lot of opinions. I've got some as well. So we'll talk about that. I would definitely like to hear your guys' opinion as well. Make sure, type in the chat there. Let me know you guys are here, and once the room starts to fill up a little bit, we'll get to it. So for everybody that saw the Charger Daytona Banshee today, what did you guys think? I'll bring it up here. It's a unique looking vehicle, that's for sure. Miles, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, they've done some pretty cool stuff. The funny thing is, one of our sources actually told us 2 or 3 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 months ago, that the Durango Hellcat was coming back. And I thought that was way out of left field. I actually didn't buy it at the time, but turned out we were wrong. Yeah, I agree. The Banshee, it definitely looks like a futuristic, modernized version of a 69 Charger. I wasn't at the event. Mopar Insider's co-owner and co-editor Robert Miller was at the event, though, and he actually said the car looks pretty cool in person. Now, it is, of course, a concept car. I think a lot of people are getting a little confused about that. So it's not the production vehicle, but it's definitely got the bones of the production vehicle for sure. I'd say the greenhouse is going to be the same. The daylight openings, or like the side windows, probably in that same shape. It's something a little different, that's for sure. But we will see. So keep in mind, what I'm confused about a little bit is the way that the hoods goes at the front, where it comes down and slopes down so much. They can do that because it's an EV, right? We do know that when the next generation Charger and Challenger comes out, the V8s are gone. That sucks. I'm a big V8 guy. If you guys have been watching the channel, you guys know I have a Whipple 4.5 liter supercharged 2015 Hellcat. I've also got a 2021 Mustang GT500 that's not on the channel, obviously, because it's a Mopar Insider's channel. And then my daily driver is a plug-in hybrid Volvo XC60. So to give you an idea, when I start giving my opinions, one, I'm not a Dodge fanboy. I'm not going to apologize for anything they do and make stuff up. Two, I'm not against plug-in hybrid vehicles or electric vehicles. I think they've got their use. But three, I also am a Dodge fan and a V8 fan. So we know with the next generation Charger and Challengers, the V8's going to be gone. But we do also know that they are going to have internal combustion engine variants. So the Hurricane inline 6 twin turbo, the standard output and the high output version is going to be in that as well. So I think it's going to have to be in a different body than this Charger concept, just because I don't see fitting the engine up front with the way the hood slopes down. Yeah, I agree. If we could have V8s alongside EVs, I think that would be great. The disappointing thing is, especially when you hear that Ford is apparently adding more power to the 5 liter. It's going to be around 500 horsepower next year in the Mustang. And I think where Dodge shot themselves in the foot, and I'm a fan of a big pushrod V8, lots of low end torque. So I think where they shot themselves in the foot, though, was staying with that powertrain. Whereas Ford, of course, in 2011 came out with a dual overhead cam 5 liter, makes it a little easier for them to meet emissions, it's more fuel efficient, etc. And I think it got to the point where Ford can stretch theirs out for a couple more years, whereas the Dodge V8s, unfortunately, emissions wise and fuel economy wise, this is it. And with it getting so close to the end, obviously it didn't make sense for them to invest in new V8 powertrains. That's the other thing that we all have to remember, is that at the end of the day, it is a business as well. So they've got to make money. But I'm going to bring this up here for you guys. So this side shot here, you can tell it almost looks like a four-door vehicle, and I think that's what's going to happen. So I think they stretched this out a little bit to be a two-door for the show, but I think as far when this goes into a production version, you're going to see this front door is going to get cut back a little bit here. There's going to be room to stick the rear door here. You'll probably end up with a small little pillar window there as well, and some stuff's going to change. But what I do believe is that the overall shape is really going to remain. If you guys remember, the 1999 Dodge Charger concept had these hips, and a lot of sources have been saying that the next generation Charger is going to have that, and I do see that right here in this concept as well. And this is what I'm talking about as far as the front end goes, where it dips down so much. It's cool how they did this and kept the front end square, but have the aerodynamics here. But I don't see fitting an internal combustion engine under that hood there. So we'll have to see. This is made more questions actually than answers, really. And I think it's cool what Dodge is doing with it. Not going to, you know, just your typical Tesla computer on wheels. I like the fact that they've made a multi-speed transmission, which is going to make it feel like the vehicle's shifting gears. I think it's cool that they added this Fratsonic exhaust, even though based on the sounds of it, I'm not totally sold on. They made it sound like a cammed V8 or something. I don't know if that would have been better or worse. Would have been kind of cool, but we'll see in person. Yeah, it's not a bad first attempt. It's you know, for the brand has really had to turn very quickly. So what they're doing now and what's gained them a lot of fans has to change. So they have to be smart about it and do something kind of cool. So I think it is a decent first attempt for sure. One thing I did want to talk about too is the Hornet. So I saw during the reveal, and I've seen a lot of the comments online and stuff like that on the Mopar Insiders Facebook page and stuff under it. A lot of people are hating on the Hornet. I agree and disagree in a few different ways. So plug-in hybrid makes sense with the times. I get it. Compact SUV is a market that sells like crazy. So yeah, it's something that Dodge wants to be in. What I really don't like is the fact that it's really just the Alpha Tonale with a Dodge front end on it. Because I'm looking a little deeper, right? With it being Stellantis, and this is reminding me of badge engineering. So if you remember, like, think about 80s GMs, Oldsmobiles, Buicks, Chevys, all look the same with a different grille. It's a cheap way to go. I think being on an Alpha platform, I have no problem really with the vehicle aside from the styling. I think the powertrains are going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a punchy little SUV. I think it's going to drive and handle great being on an Alpha platform. But the last time Dodge has had an all-new vehicle was what? 2013 with the Dart. So basically a rebadged Alpha with a different dash. They could have went a little further with it, and I even feel watching the live reveal yesterday when Tim Kuniskis was talking about it, I almost feel like he was trying to sell himself on it more than the audience. They could have done a few small changes if they changed up that D-pillar design, and kind of gave it more of the Dodge DNA. I think it would have been great. So let's pull that up here now. So Robert was at the, see, I almost called it Tonali right there, at the Hornet unveiling yesterday. He did have a chance to sit inside the vehicle. He got some great photos of it and play around with it. The one thing that he said was that the interior quality and the build quality of the vehicle was top notch. So, said all the materials in it, he said, were actually very nice, high-end materials, and obviously it's a show vehicle, so we'll see when the real ones come out. But he did say that that it felt like a high-quality vehicle. So I've got nothing against it. My issue with it really just comes from the styling. So what they could have done, in my opinion, was if they changed it here from the D-pillar back, changed the angle of this back window here on the door, they could have given it a lot more Dodge DNA. Because sure, if you look at the front, if I can scroll down and find a picture of the front here, there's a GLH. So it's kind of got a bit of that baby Durango thing going up front. That's cool. I have no problem with that. But when you get along to the side, it just gives me a, I don't know, late 2000s Kia kind of vibe, if that makes sense. If they changed it up a little bit more, I would have been happier with it. I'm sure I'll get a chance to drive the vehicle probably within the next 6 months to a year. I'll get one as a press vehicle for a week, and I'm sure it's going to drive great, but I'll let you guys know. Yeah, smoking Mazda, you're right. It does have a real Mazda look, like their CUVs that they've got out right now. I agree with you. But apparently the interior, the build quality is really nice. So, I mean, it's a vehicle that's needed, right? To stay alive, Dodge can't just sell high-power muscle cars because they don't sell a whole lot of them. You know, since they've stopped making the Journey and the Grand Cherokee, their sales are way down. Challenger sales are up every year, which is unreal considering the cars like from 2008. I think a lot of the issues and a lot of the reason everybody's freaking out is because a lot of the reporting on it, to be honest, has been terrible. So the Charger and Challenger aren't getting canceled. There's new ones coming out, just like, you know, Ford does with the Mustang, 2005 Mustang, 2010 Mustang, 2015 Mustang. It gets redesigned. It's not a vehicle getting canceled. So you've got people running around like their hair's on fire because they think the Charger and Challenger is getting canceled, which is not the case. There's other people saying they're going EV only and all the gas engines are going away, which is not the case. You had a couple other outlets come out and said that the Hellcat's staying, which we knew wasn't true at the time. And then, of course, when Dodge announced the Hemi's gone on Monday, after 2023, everybody's freaking out thinking it's the end. I love a big V8 too. I haven't driven a Hurricane powered vehicle yet, but I mean, 500 horsepower, twin turbo, inline six. There's a lot of potential there. Yeah, see, I agree. You know, as far as a daily, the Hornet RT, sure. The TA392 is an awesome car. I wouldn't trade that for an EV either. I've got no interest in trading my GT500 or my Hellcat for an EV. As far as a daily driver, I'm not against one or a plug-in hybrid, but it all depends on what's gonna come out, right? Yeah, the power shot button, the electric nitrous boost, I guess you could call it. That's that's a cool idea. It's something that sets them apart. I like that they're doing stuff like that, right? Like adding exhaust sounds to the Charger Banshee concept, which you know that's going to make it to production. The power shot button, the fact that it's going to feel like it's shifting gears, like they're trying to keep it enthusiast oriented, for sure. If I had to trade my Volvo, so I've got a 2022 Volvo XC60 Polestar engineered plug-in hybrid, and you think Dodge has long names. If I had to trade it for a Mopar, what would it be as far as a daily driver? Right now, unfortunately, nothing. The Grand Cherokee 4xe for sure, but they're not on lots up here. That's probably what I would have bought when I bought it, but it's just not available yet. So, Space Dog, that's a good question with the direct connection parts. I'm wondering that myself, whether it's going to be, you know, the Tesla route where you just pay and it gets unlocked through a update, or BMW's stupid new heated seat subscription. If you guys have heard about that, hopefully they're not getting any ideas. It would be cool if they're actual parts upgrades. What I'm curious of is whether there's going to be any power upgrades, because I know when we were told a couple months ago, we actually posted on the website too, that there's going to be 3 power levels for the BEV Charger and Challenger, which Tim did announce tonight that there's going to be 3 power levels. I was told that the top power level was going to be about 850 horsepower, but I was told that the powertrain that's in it is capable of 1400. So I don't know. It might just be software upgrades where they just unlock more power coming out of the battery. It's who knows at this point. Dodge is getting very good at keeping secrets, which is making it hard to figure out what they're doing, especially when they're changing into a whole new direction. Yeah, imagine being in the middle of a drag race and your power shot subscription runs out and then the thing cuts power by like 75%. That'd be terrible. Oh, I really hope they don't get ideas about doing subscription stuff, because you don't need microtransactions in your car. I've seen some pretty funny memes of BMW stuff already, so that's the last thing that they need. And then Monday was the direct connection day, so I think they came up with some really cool stuff like on Monday, for sure. I'm almost thinking about buying one of those Challenger bodies myself and just stashing it away somewhere in a saran wrapper. I mean, $8,000 for a body in white of a new Challenger is a killer deal. The rolling chassis for the drag pack is pretty cool too. That's a little pricey at 90 grand, but it costs a lot of money to go drag racing. I know that for sure. The Speedcore carbon fiber Charger, that's unreal. I don't even want to know how much that's going to cost, but that's a really cool piece of kit there. The Challenger convertible thing, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't know why people want these Challenger convertibles, but people do it. It's gonna happen, but you know, it's cool that they teamed up with the company that's been doing them, so that the people that do want them can get them. And then the Durango Hellcat coming back, man, that's really pissed off some 2021 Durango Hellcat owners. Holy crap, their forums and owners are like running around like their hair's on fire right now. But yeah, I'm a little surprised more companies aren't going to E85 either. GM used to do flex fuel big time. The Challenger with the E85 Challenger, that's what's going to be shown in SEMA. So I don't know if you guys saw, I actually wrote the original article about the 909 horsepower 2023 E85 capable Charger. So that's the car that was under wraps. It has like that one fast 26 plate on it. That's going to be revealed at SEMA. I'm really excited to see that. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, thoughts on the return of the Durango Hellcat? That was a weird move. I get why they did it. There's a lot of people wanted them. And it was 2021. I mean, that was a real tough year for the car industry, for these companies to be cranking product out with, you know, there was the chip shortage, but what wasn't talked about so much is there was a shortage of tires. There was a shortage of foam for seats. Like, the dumbest things came up supply chain wise that made it so hard for these companies to build vehicles that they really had to struggle through it. But I think it's cool that they brought it back. I think it's kind of, I feel for the people that bought one as an investment because they were told it was, you know, the 1 year only deal. Yeah, I don't know. That's I drove a Durango Hellcat. I liked it. So we'll see. I think it's cool that they brought it back, but I feel for the people that bought one as an investment. Yeah, Riff, the E85 one, I thought it was going to be shown this week, but yeah, SEMA's it. Rick Grimes, if the new EV concept was to be released today, what do you think the price tag would be on it? Oh man, yeah, I'm thinking at least 80K. I actually just one of my sources just texted me. All right, so here you go, guys. I just you got it first. So here's the power levels for the electric Charger Challenger. So it's gonna start at 550 horsepower. 850 is gonna be the middle one. I know I just said that was the top. That's what I was told before. But the three power levels are gonna be 550 horse, 850 horse, and 1050 horse. Yeah, sorry, Rick. So I got taken off guard there. I think it would undercut the Plaid by a little bit, but not much. I've noticed with Dodge's all Chrysler stuff lately, they're definitely creeping up in price. They're doing a way better job than they have in the past as far as interior wise, materials wise, etc. They're trying to go a little premium. So yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's going to be pretty close to Plaid level. I think it'll probably undercut it by a little bit, but not a whole hell of a lot as far as the high horsepower one goes. Do I prefer the Durango Hellcat or the Trackhawk? Trackhawk all day. The Durango Hellcat's got the nicer interior because they redid that interior for the 2022? 2021, sorry. So the refresh, it's got a more modern interior, but other than that, I think the Durango kind of looks like a big minivan. I'm not a big fan. I do like the front end, but the side profile in the back, I don't like. If I needed the room, the 7 seats, sure. I have nothing against the Durango Hellcat, but I think the Trackhawk's a little more athletic looking, and that's just kind of what I prefer. Riff, no, E85 is pretty much impossible to get where I live. There's one station that sells it through the pump. It always tests it at E85, which is great. Or you can buy E100 from them too. It's about a 2-hour drive from me. And there's only one gas station with a pump that sells it, but they sell it as basically it's flex. It always tests at E65-ish. I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos recently. So I picked up a 2015 Challenger Hellcat. It's got a 4.5 liter Whipple supercharger on it. Long tubes, full fuel system, all that. I've actually just got the 4 fuel rails, showed up the other day. Ethanol content sensor, ethanol gauge. So It's being tuned by Mike at OST Dyno right now. Remote tuned. He's got the thing. It's running pretty strong on 93 right now. But I am going to do a flex tune just to see what it's like. And as far as what I'm gonna race the car on, though, is probably gonna be VP C16, just because Mike at OST, he's got the same kind of mindset that I do. A lot of tuners will tune your car on a flex tune and say go race it. The thing is, without the ethanol content sensor and it feeding the information to the computer, it's just using an inferred alcohol content from the widebands. So I'm not crazy about that, because if the computer thinks the E85 content is different than it is, then you got a problem. But in your case, I mean, if you've got direct, real deal E85 and you know what's in there, then that's fine. You're pretty safe. Yeah, you're lucky having 4 stations. I've got, where I live, I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and it's really hard to find E85. 900 wheel, yeah, that's a good number. I've got, the guy that I bought my car from showed me a dyno of it at 930, and a 930 wheel, and he showed me a video of the car going 979 at like 145 miles an hour. And when I took it to the track, although my tuner and another friend of mine that I showed the tune to said it was like the worst tune they've ever seen in something, so I'm going to get it re-dynoed once it's all done here at OST, because I took it to the track, and I mean, I've been drag racing for 23 years, so I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. And mile an hour tells a story anyway. And it was going like 1030s at 133, which is a little disappointing. But with everything I've done over the last 2-3 weeks, and with Mike at OST Dyno's help, this car should solidly be in the 9s next time we get it out to the track. Yeah, Ignite E90, that's... If I could find a way to buy Ignite and get it up here, I think I would love to run it on ethanol. Let me put it that way. Going to race gas is not the ideal way, because it's very expensive. Sure, it adds a lot of power. I would love to run the car on E85 or Flex. But I'm going to talk to Mike at OST again. If I've got the ethanol content sensor, the gauge in the car, and the computer kind of agrees with what the gauge is saying, in my opinion, I think running Flex would be fine on a race tune on it. But he's the expert. He knows a lot more than me about this stuff, so we'll see what he says. I'm just excited to show a lot of people that the 4.5 liter Whipple is not a piece of crap, which a lot of people think it is, but it's a very, very hard supercharger to tune for, especially if you have the Whipple big oval throttle body, which I just added to the car the other day. There's only a couple companies can really tune for them. You see a lot of cars running the Whipple. I mean, if you go on forums, having tons of issues with it just because a lot of it's tuning related. Design of the new Charger looks terrible. 67 Charger does not fit the modern era. Yeah, I was told it looks a lot better in person than the photos. My business partner was there at the event. Since he lives in Michigan, it makes more sense for him to go than it does for me to fly from Vancouver down there. He said it looks a lot better in person. Keep in mind, it is a concept car, so it's not going to be exactly that way when it comes out. And I still think that design, that's going to be the 4-door. Based on the length of the daylight openings. Even if you look at... Let me pull it up here again for you guys. And I'll tell you what, for me, is kind of the dead giveaway that's going to be a 4-door. Is going to be the distance between the back of the door and the back tire. I'll pull that up. What do I think about the 900 plus horsepower car they didn't unveil? So, funny enough, I actually wrote the original article that it's going to be 909 horsepower. You're going to see it at SEMA. That's when they're going to come out with it. That's going to be the final farewell. So, I was originally told about this car 2 years ago from one of my sources that works, or about a year and a half, that works at, well, you can take a guess based on what I'm going to say. So, they were originally targeting 1,000 horsepower. There was supposed to be a 909 version for 2022, and they were targeting 1,000 horsepower for 2023, which was supposed to kind of be like the great goodbye for the Hellcat. So when I talked to them a couple of weeks ago, they were saying it's going to be 909. So what I'm not sure of is if that's going to be 909 base or 909 on E85. I'm also hearing it might be actually an E90 tune. But what it was supposed to have was, they were talking about a diff cooler. They were going to be running a smaller pulley and the 3-liter supercharger from the Elephant. I think I was told the diff cooler has been axed. I'm not sure about what the pulley size is going to be on it, but it is going to have the 3-liter blower off the Elephant as well. So it'll be an E85 capable car with a bigger blower than what we have now. 909 sounds soft to me because, as you guys know, like as Rift probably knows and Rick, it doesn't take a lot to get just a standard Hellcat with a 2.4 liter Whipple to what would equate to 900 crank. But again, it's one of those things too where Dodge likes using their numbers. So the Hellcat, as you guys may or may not know, it's not actually 707 horsepower. It makes like 717-ish, a little bit more, but they went with the number because that's a good number that sticks in your head, right? 707. And then end up being 717 with the ones with the newer hood. Just like the, Demon was 808, and they said you couldn't get that. They had to go to the Demon hood to have 808, and that's why the Red Eye had 797. But then you've got the Jailbreak with Demon horsepower with the Red Eye hood. So a lot of that's just kind of marketing stuff, but they're a lot of fun to drive. Yeah, if the 3-liter Whipple, I might get rid of the 4.5 and go to the 3-liter. It just depends on how this 4.5 goes. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. As for the design of the 900 horsepower car, no, it's gonna be a standard. It's gonna be the Challenger as you know it, just with a bit more power under the hood. It'll be the final goodbye. I think it's going to have, based on what I saw of the car with the cover, it almost looks like it has the original 2015 Hellcat hood on it, which is interesting. So it might be a different take on that. Alter the design from the concept. I agree they're not going to alter it much. So I'll bring this up right here. I was talking about this earlier in the chat with the guys. We got a little sidetracked. So here's the side profile of the concept car, right? Now, they were talking about, in 1999, Dodge released a Charger concept, and it had these hips and line at the back. And a lot of people have said that the next generation Charger, Challenger, or Charger was going to have that. You can see it here in the concept. Very, very similar to that 1999 concept design. I think what you're looking at here, as far as the general outline of the car, as well as the daylight opening here, is all going to be production. There's probably going to be some minor trim changes. I'm sure the wheels will be different. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Robert was down there. He told me, so these wheels are 22-inch wheels, but they're like a Porsche. It's a one lug design, like a center hub design. I don't think that's going to make production. The reason that I think that this is a four-door is, one, they're going to keep the Challenger nameplate going. There's no way they're going to cancel that because they've been gaining sales every year. And now the nameplate's got a lot of recognition back, right? Every time you go to a new one, new nameplate, you're basically starting over. And they're going to do a 2-door and a 4-door. So what they did, this is the Charger, and I'm pretty sure it is a Charger. Look at the length of this back window. This is too long for a 2-door vehicle. Look at the gap between this door and this back tire. That's also too long for a 2-door vehicle. I think what you're going to see in production is this door is going to be a little shorter, moved up to here-ish, and then you're going to have the back door that comes down here, and you're going to get a line there. So I think the general shape of the vehicle and general design is pretty much it, and you're going to see minor trim changes and stuff like that going on. The 6-cylinder turbo, it will be replacing the 5.7 Hemi in the Rams, as well as in the Jeeps as well. What they're going to do as far as heavy duty trucks, I'm not sure. I think they'll probably keep running the 392 in the or 6.4 in the 2500 and 3500s. You will see the 6-cylinder turbo make its way to the Rams. I think that's going to be 2024 and the refresh is when they're going to do it. Other than that, we'll see. Yeah, it could definitely be a true M5 competitor. And the reason that I say that is because the Challenger is going to have to look different, right? So this is a pretty decent looking vehicle. Like, it's not a bad looking vehicle, but it doesn't necessarily look right as a 2-door. So, you know, the 2-door is going to look like a 2-door. This is stretched out, and this is a 4-door made into a 2-door for a concept. I would almost put money on it. I'm curious to know what some of your guys' thoughts are on this stuff, because the internet has been alive with Dodge catching hate all week. So some of it, as I said before, might be a little deserved. I think a lot of it is expectations were set a little wrong. What do I think prices are going to be for the 3 trim levels? I think you're probably going to be around... See, I'm in Canada, so it's hard for me to think about it in those terms because your guys' stuff in the States is so much cheaper. I think the entry-level versions are going to be the straight 6 of the Charger and Challenger. That's going to be your entry-level versions. They might do... I don't know. I bet you the small BEV is going to come in a little higher than a Scat Pack. And then it's going to kind of go up from there. Well, I think the 550 is going to be... 550 horse is going to be what? Let's say 55, 60 grand US. Maybe a little less. And then go up from there. It's really hard for me to decide because pricing's so different in Canada than it is in the States. I mean, here, a Scat Pack can touch damn near 70 grand. Yeah, I agree. I think almost the order that they did everything kind of screwed them up. I think what they should have done is I would have done, if I was running the show, I would have done the Charger Daytona Banshee review or reveal on Monday, day one. I know they were trying to build hype, but I think it bit them in the ass because they pissed everybody off on Monday when they said they were getting rid of the V8s. And then the internet went crazy. Everybody started jumping to conclusions. Oh, they're getting rid of gas motors completely, which is not true. But But they pissed everybody off on Monday when they said they're getting rid of V8s. So then everybody's already mad. And then they show a CUV, a crossover. So everybody's really like, what the hell is going on? Right? And then they showed the Banshee on earlier today. So I would have walked it the complete opposite way around. I would have done the Banshee on Monday. Probably kept the Hornet on Tuesday, but I would have just switched Monday and Wednesday if I was Dodge. And I know companies don't want to talk about future stuff, but there's a couple things that they could easily say that would calm a lot of people down, but they're not, and that's on the rest of us auto journalists and stuff to do. So who knows? We'll see. There's still a couple more tricks up their sleeve, so we'll see the SEMA car. I'm excited about that one. That one might get me to sell my 2021 GT500 just to do a last year. Hellcat. I think it's cool that they brought back all the colors and they're adding the jailbreak to a regular Hellcat. So people, if you just want a regular Hellcat, you can spec it out exactly the way you want it. I've really thought about doing a jailbreak this last year, but they're so hard to get. I think it would be cool, like a Frostbite Challenger with the white and black interior, yellow calipers, red seat belts maybe. That might add a little bit too much color, but I think you can build some brass monkey wheels and badging. You can build some really cool designs out of this jailbreak stuff, which is why I don't know why a lot of these jailbreak cars I see online are so boring. You see like red with a black interior, with like literally a build that you could have ordered for the last 4 or 5 years. You could do whatever you want with it, and people are just still ordering boring stuff. Like if you could order a jailbreak, man, make it cool, make it different. Crazy factor. Yeah, 14,000 pre-orders overnight for the Hornet. That's crazy. That's a big market segment, right? So if you make something that's fun to drive and people want to drive, you're gonna sell product. And at the end of the day, that's what Dodge needs to do. And I think they'll do well with it. I'm just really hoping that this isn't the start of something bad. Because I remember Dodge was making some really cool stuff and really good stuff near the late 90s, mid to late 90s. They're coming out with cool stuff, cool products. The quality was going up. Their interior quality was better than either Ford or GM at the time. And then Daimler bought them and rode them into the ground and ruined them. Then luckily they got pretty much saved, became FCA when Fiat came involved, and I have no idea why everybody keeps hating on the Fiat thing all the time. Like somehow that was like a diss. Oh, the Dodge is a Fiat. Okay, so when was the last time they came out with cool shit like they had? That's when the Hellcat came out. That's when interior quality started coming up, when they started building cool stuff that people wanted. So I don't get it. But I guess what I'm getting at is like the Hornet kind of just being, I don't want to call it a badge engineered Tonale, but a badge engineered Tonale. I really hope it's not setting the tone for what things are going to be like under Stellantis. That's my problem with it. Yeah, I could see that as far as Omni. I mean, I'm not hating on the Hornet for what it is, because they need to build something like that. I'm not loving the execution. The one saving grace could be the driving experience. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll get to drive one in the fairly near future, and we'll see how it is. So being on an alpha platform, like I've said before, it probably has great driving dynamics. I just really think the style is lame. But Chrysler's actually got a bunch of stuff that's going to be coming out, so we'll see how that goes. Chrysler, you can look at, they're pretty much going to be kind of the people mover brand of the company. Dodge is going to try to keep the fun factor going, so we'll see how that goes. The Hurricane's going to be going into Grand Wagoneer, Ram 1500. It's going to go into the WL Grand Cherokee as a hybrid, which makes me think that's going to be your SRT or Trackhawk replacement, because I mean they've already got the 4xe plug-in hybrid with the 2-liter. So if they're putting the Hurricane in there, I mean 500 horsepower with a hybrid powertrain, you're doing that for performance reasons. So it's going to be a performance thing. The new Cherokee apparently is getting a version of the Hurricane, Ram 1500. So we'll see. They've got a lot of places to put it. The thing is, yeah, next gen Durango, if they do next gen Durango, which I heard might have been axed, I hope not. It was supposed to go to body on frame, based off the Grand Wagoneer frame, which would make sense because from a volume standpoint, you need that to pay for the tooling and the cost to build the vehicle. So having like a lower priced Dodge version off of that would make sense. If they do end up still doing that, yeah, I could see the Hurricane going in there. And that's the thing, guys. You got to remember this. Like, everyone's running around with their hair on fire right now saying, oh, they're not going to build gas-powered vehicles anymore. Of course they are. They just invested how much money and how many years? Like, how many years have we been talking about this Hurricane motor for now? 4? So, all these years and all this time invested into creating this powertrain, they're going to stick it everywhere they can. They got to get their money back off it, right? So everywhere that it fits, you're going to see the Hurricane show up, guaranteed, as long as it makes sense. Like, I don't think they're going to put it in a Ram 2500 or 3500, but everywhere else, I'd say it's probably pretty much fair game. That's going to be a rear-wheel drive biased vehicle. Yeah, the thing with the Hornet GLH, it's actually... So that's all just like direct connection parts, so I don't think they're going to come out with an actual GLH. I think it was designed just to show off the direct connection parts that you're going to be able to order for the Hornet. So it's cool that they're backing it, but hopefully they can get the parts out. The direct connection thing's been a bit of a disaster from my understanding for the past year. Hard getting parts out. Since the Banshee won't necessarily be tested performance, you can kind of guess the power of the car and weight. Yeah, you're probably right. Those batteries add a ton of weight for sure. But I think the top dog is going to be fast, for sure. Tim said tonight that it's going to be even faster than their supercharged V8 offerings. So it's going to be somewhere in the 9s in the quarter mile. So I think they would like to go after the Plaid and beat it. Kind of, when they came out with the Demon, they were, fastest accelerating production car in the world. I think they would like to get that back, but yeah, I agree. If it can't beat the Plaid, it does lose the whole top of the line muscle car thing. So they could go after it, but the other thing too is like I love performance, and I'm a drag racer. I've been drag racing for 23 years, but where does it end too? You can't just sell anybody an 8-second car. Like, that's nuts. But you never know. Where does it end, right? You got the thing with electric cars that I've noticed, because I actually I bought a Tesla and drove it for a couple months before I said forget this. I actually didn't hate it. Drove fine. But a lot of electric car enthusiasts aren't like car enthusiasts. They get into it because it's an electric car. So I don't want to say they don't know what they're doing, but they'll be in a situation they've never been in before. So, I mean, if something like that runs like eights off the showroom floor, and the last vehicle the guy was driving was like a Kia Rio, but he just bought this because he thinks it's cool because he likes electric cars, and all of a sudden he's got an 8-second car, like that's dangerous. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say it because, you know, everything always improves, and I don't want the Tesla Plaid to be the fastest car you can buy, but, like, how much further are they really going to push this, right? We'll see. Wow. It's been 51 minutes already. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy as hell, too, buying a car off the showroom floor that ran 6s that I didn't have to put any fuel in or maintenance or change the oil. That'd be kind of cool, but yeah, I agree. It's crazy. Absolutely mental. Yeah, 8-second car and no sound is a terrible outcome for sure. I mean, you see them on the road too. You see a Tesla pull out on the highway and floor it to pass a bunch of cars. That's actually like dangerous because you don't have that audible sense that a vehicle's coming. So say you're going to change lane, you don't know how fast that thing's coming. There's no sound telling you. It's there's more to the sound of the vehicle than just the enjoyment of it, right? Yeah, you'd probably be able to tune your. I mean, well, you can tune your car right now with your phone. I saw HP Tuners has that new like RTD Plus that actually connects to an app on your phone, and you can load tunes. So who knows? You'll be able to tune your all electric car with your camera before you know it. Well, that's gonna be it, guys. I appreciate you guys all hopping on. I just wanted to kind of hop on, give my thoughts on the Speed Week announcements, kind of maybe put some of the stuff in perspective because the internet's been on fire, claiming Dodge is dead. They're absolutely not. But they got to do what they got to do. I mean, we don't all love it, right? I'm a V8 guy as well, but yeah, it's cool that they did the exhaust. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. This was really the first time I did a live, so I might do these more often. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We've got a bunch of cool stuff going on. I was actually this morning out filming a V8 swap going on a Gladiator right now, an America's Most Wanted V8 swap. It's being done through White Rock Dodge and Epic Adventure Outfitters. Have partnered up with America's Most Wanted 4x4 to be the only builders in British Columbia of America's Most Wanted 4x4 swap Jeeps. So there's a bunch of stuff coming up. So we've got that going on. I've got a bunch of videos I've been working on with our Challenger, with all the modifications and stuff that we've been doing. And I've got a review of the Jeep Compass coming up soon as well that I'll have posted. So I want to be more active on the YouTube channel, give you guys quality content. So, I mean, this live went pretty well, so maybe I'll try that again too, a little more often. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you subscribe. We've got a bunch more content coming out. And for tons of information, lots of in-depth information and pictures from the reveals at Dodge Speed Week, head on over to my website, moparinsiders.com. We got lots of stuff there. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care, and we'll see you guys in the next one.